Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining in for today's practice. Let's begin by starting off seated, closing the eyes when you feel ready. And becoming aware of the connection between your body and the mat. And allowing your weight to transfer down into the earth. Allow yourself to feel supported. Allow your shoulders to drop away from the ears, letting your jaw unhinge, letting your tongue rest at the base of the mouth, and releasing tension from the lower back, getting heavier through your seat and the knees. And once you're feeling settled, getting into a position that you can find stillness in, begin to pay attention to your breath. You can listen to the sounds of your breath. Noticing the gentle movement that happens from within with each breath. Feeling your lungs expanding, your collarbones lifting as the rib cage opens up. And notice the sensation of your lungs being full. And feel that sense of relief as you begin to breathe out. Feel that softening in your chest as the air exits your body. And try not to change or control your breath in any way. Just allow yourself to observe the breath as it happens from one moment to the next. And as you settle into a pattern for your breath that feels natural and effortless, begin to let go of the day that you've had so far. Letting go of any plans or any items on your to-do list. And let this connection with your breath bring you into the present moment. Letting your breath be your anchor. And throughout the practice today and beyond, whenever you find yourself wandering away from your breathing without any judgment or any harshness towards yourself, gently guide your thoughts and your awareness back to your breath, coming back to the present moment. And thinking of each time you come back to your breath as a repetition, a rep that makes your ability to focus stronger. And perhaps you'd like to think of the reason you're on your mat today. Perhaps setting an intention for your practice. And if you like, you can set and repeat that intention, coming back to it when perhaps the class gets a little challenging, or you find yourself wondering why you decided to be here today. And once you've set your intention, I invite you to keep your eyes closed as you transition from where you are on your mat into a comfortable tabletop. So a tabletop is on your hands and knees, and as you make that transition from seated to tabletop, be mindful of the different movements that your body makes, how your muscles come into play, the rotation of the joints, and feel your hands connecting with the mat. Feel the weight of your body spreading into the palms, out through the fingertips, into the thumb and finger pads. And keeping the eyes closed, see if you can complete that transition onto your hands and knees. And then go ahead and open the eyes and just notice if you need to make any adjustments to your tabletop. You want to have the shoulders stacking over your wrists. You want to have the hips stacking over the knees. You can have your toes tucked under or be on the tops of your feet. That's your choice. Let's start by exhaling all the air from the body. And then as you breathe in, begin to arch into the low back, draw the belly down, come into a back bend as you pull the shoulders away from you. Look forward or maybe look up. And on the exhale, tucking your tailbone down towards the mat, rounding into the spine as you push the floor away. Bring your chin to the chest, coming into a rounded back position. Let's move through cat and cow on the inhale, coming into your back bend, squeezing your shoulder blades together as you draw them away from the ears. And then exhale to round into the spine and separate your shoulder blades, fill up into your back body. Follow your breath, inhaling into your back bend, exhaling into a rounded back. Going at your own pace. If you want to add in some side to side movement, some rotations for the hips and shoulders, feel free to do that if that feels good. Try and get into the parts of your body where you feel tightness. If you spend a lot of time sitting down, sometimes the lower back and the glutes, or even the traps and shoulders, can need a little bit of extra attention. So check in with your body, see where you feel that tension, where you feel that tightness, and then try and invite movement into those particular parts of the body. Couple more breaths. And waking up your spine, connecting movement with breath. And let's start to make our way towards a neutral position. Keep the hips stacked over the knees. Make your way down onto your forearms. You're going to walk the elbows away from the body, coming into a puppy dog position. Rest your forehead on the mat. Let your chest melt through and press your arm bones right into the shoulder sockets. And as you feel that opening through the armpits, breathing into the muscles between the rib cage, those intercostal muscles. Allow your tailbone to extend up and away from the body as the chest melts closer to the ground. Spread into your fingers as you push down into your palms. Lift the forehead up, drive your chest forward, and step your feet back. As you bring your hips and the knees down, point through your toes, coming into Sphinx Pose, elbows underneath your shoulders. Look forward or look up. Try to broaden out through your collarbones. Breathe into the belly here. Push down into the hips. Gentle back bend as you try to press the hands into the mat and lift your chest up and away from the ground. From this position here, we're going to add a little bit of movement for the upper half of your spine. So as you exhale, go ahead and look past the right shoulder. Try and look towards the back right corner of your mat. On the inhale, come back to center. Exhale, looking to the left. Let's go side to side a couple more times. Inhale to center, exhale to the right. Inhale to center and exhale to the left. As you come back to center, let's pause here. We're going to add in some more movement here. Take a moment, check in with your breath. And then on the next exhale, start to press your chin into the chest and then engaging through your midsection, lift the lower belly, the top of your thighs off the mat. And then inhale to relax the top of the thighs back down and into Sphinx Pose. So that's the movement here. You can go a little bit further on the exhale if you want to. Press that chin to the chest, engaging through the midsection, and maybe even lifting knees off the mat if you want to feel that strength through the entire body. And then inhale to rest your legs down and then find your way back into Sphinx, the back bend. Let's do that a few times at your own pace. Exhale, lifting the lower half of the body off along with the midsection. Inhale, breathing into the belly, pushing the hips down. And noticing which muscles you're engaging here when you lift the lower belly and the top of the thighs off the mat. And that's the muscles that we engage to find our way into downward facing dog as well. Just feel those muscles working here. Perhaps you start to feel a bit of fatigue happening in those muscles after we do a few reps. And the next time you come into your Sphinx pose, we'll pause there. Bringing the hands onto the mat and lower your chest and chin down. From here, we're going to tuck the toes under, elbows tucked into the body, stacking over the wrists, heads of the shoulders off the mat, shoulder blades squeezing together. This time we're going to keep the knees on the mat, but I want you to lift your chest and belly and top of the thighs off at the same time. So coming into a supported plank as you pull the belly button in and away from the mat, engaging your midsection, push into the hands and lift up your torso along with your thighs in one movement. Once you're here, I'd like you to arch the low back, so now your tailbone's pointing up and away. From here, you're going to bend the elbows, keep the hips lifted, bringing your chest and chin on the mat. Hips stay off the mat. Now we're going to find some movement for the lower half of the body, or for the spine. So on the exhale, drop your hips down to the right side. Inhale, pull them back to center, and exhale to the left. One more time. Inhale, center, exhale to the right. Inhale, come back, exhale to the left. And let's do that one last time. Inhale, center, exhale to the right. Inhale, center, exhale to the left. Inhale, come back. Now from here, we're going to try and slide the body alongside the floor and then swoop up into a back bend. So I'd like you to push into your toe mounts, and as you slide your body forward, push the hips down and then rise up, maybe straightening the arms. If you're comfortable doing that, it's okay for your low back. Draw the shoulders back, open into the chest, push into the tops of the feet. Option to take the knees off the mat as you come into upward dog, or keep your knees down for cobra, your choice. And then bring those midsection muscles into play one more time. As you exhale, begin to lift and tucking your toes under, coming into a downward facing dog. Hands are shoulder width, feet are hip width distance. Here, let's pedal out the feet as you stretch the back of your thighs, stretch the back of your shins, the calf muscles. Move the hips from side to side. Get accustomed to this shape, this upside down V. Maybe it's the first time you're coming into your downward dog today. Maybe it's the first time ever you're coming into a downward dog, and that's perfectly fine as well. What you want to do is start to get accustomed to this position, this pose, as it is a common one that we come to often in many yoga classes. Once you've pedaled the feet, bending one knee, straightening the other, go ahead and find some stillness here. And on the next breath in, lift up your right leg nice and high for three-legged dog. And as you exhale, bend that knee and swing your leg forward. Let the foot land on the mat between the hands, ground into the back knee, and bring the fingers together on the right thigh. Once you have your balance here, you can have your toes tucked under or be on the top of the back foot. Rest into your shoulders and get heavy through the pelvis so you can sink low towards the mat to stretch your hip flexors here. Taking a couple of breaths here. If you spend a lot of time sitting down, these muscles can get tight, so you want to take the time to stretch them out. From here, we're going to release both hands down on the inside of your right foot. So my right arm, right leg are pushing into each other. Both hands are on the inside edge of my right foot. And from here, we're going to try to push the pelvis even further forward towards my hands. Just really stretch this part of the body out. As you push the pelvis forward, try to draw your chest forward as well. And not letting your right knee fall out to the side. So keep pulling it back into the midline of your mat. And then go ahead and ease your way out of this pose. We're going to walk the hands back. We're going to take that back foot, lift it, pivoting on that knee, and then step your foot behind the knee. So you want your knee and the back heel in the same line. And now we're just turning our way on the mat. So you're facing the side edge of your mat. I'm straightening out my right leg and bringing the bottom of the foot on the mat and then bringing those toes in line with my left knee. So now I'm going to stack up here, shoulders, hips, stacking on that left knee. Right hand either resting on the leg or coming around the back, and that left hand reaching up to the ceiling. Draw the shoulders down the back. Inhale to look up to the ceiling, and exhale to fold towards your right leg. You want to keep this leg feeling nice and strong here, so the bottom of the foot pushes down, and breathe into the side ribs here, as well as on this side of the body. Continue looking up as you strengthen your neck muscles. And as you inhale, come back to center, bringing both hands down beside the body. From here, we're going to pick up the front toes off the mat, pivoting on that heel, let those toes face up. Now from here, we bend into that right leg. And there's a bit of a strange move here you might find, but you want to stretch the inner part of your left thigh. So from here, my pelvis is shifting towards that front knee so I can feel this stretch in the inner left thigh. So I'm going to hang out here just for a few moments. Not going too far, but I do want to feel this through here and maybe a little bit through the glutes as well. From here, bring both hands down on the inside edge of the mat. Pick up that back foot one more time, pivoting on that knee. As you bring yourself back to starting position, bring your hands on either side of the right foot to frame the foot with your hands, with your back toes tucked under. Pick up the left knee, and we step that right foot back. We're in plank. Now from plank, you always have the option to move through chaturanga or go straight into your downward dog. So straight into your downward dog is just like that. If you want to go through chaturanga, as you exhale, bend the elbows, come down towards mat with control, push from the ankles on the inhale, rise up into your back bend, lift the chest, and then exhale, lift the seat, tuck your toes, and we find our way into downward dog. Hands are shoulder width, feet are hip width distance. Spread the fingers, press the palms into the mat, and find that length in your torso, taking the shoulders up and away from the ears. Roll the armpits in to face each other, spread across your upper back. Ears are in line with your arms. As you breathe in next, pick up that left leg nice and high. And as you exhale, swing your leg forward and bring the foot in between the hands. Now it's going to switch sides here so I can continue watching you for the next little sequence here. So bring both hands on the inside of your left foot as you push your pelvis forward. Pardon me, before we come here, we're going to hang out here for a moment. Fingers together on that left thigh, relax into the shoulders and the pelvis. Whenever you can, try to come back to your breath. Make sure your mind hasn't wandered off or taking you someplace else. Stay with your body, stay with your breath, and bring both hands on the inside of your left foot here. Now we start to push the pelvis forward as you press that left arm, left leg into each other. Now to ease out of this pose, press into the hands, start to straighten out that left leg, picking up the right foot, pivoting on that knee. Now we switch over, facing the side one more time. Bottom of the foot pressing down into the mat. If you need to take that foot a little further away, you can. You want your right shoulder, hip, and knee all in a straight line. Bring that left hand around the back, right arm reaching to the ceiling. Take an inhale, look up, and exhale, folding over to your side. I like to close my eyes just to add in another layer of experience. I can really connect with my breath, my body, shutting out my vision for a little bit. It helps me go inward, really focus in on the breath. Draw the shoulders down the back. Inhale, come back. Exhale to release the hands beside you. Now from here, we're going to pick up the front leg, toes off the mat, pivoting on that heel. Now, as you bend into that knee, the bottom of that foot comes down, left arm resting on that leg as you let your pelvis shift forward and to the side so you feel that stretch in the inner thigh muscles. Now, again, you always want to listen to your body. Make sure that whatever position you find yourself in, you're able to breathe comfortably. You're not in any excruciating pain, as that is a good indicator that your body perhaps might not be ready for the particular pose or variation that you've chosen. So always listen to your body, especially since we're doing this virtually and I'm not able to be there in person. You really have to be your own guide through the class as well. From here, go ahead and release both hands down onto the mat. We're going to pick up that back foot, pivoting on the knee. And as you come into your lunge, bring your hands on either side of your left foot. Now we're going to make this more into a flow. So try to have one breath equal one movement. So picking up that back knee, step back on the exhale, and then move through chaturanga or go straight to your downward dog. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Think about bringing your lower belly and the top of the thighs closer together. Think about lifting your tailbone up and away as your shoulders move away from the ears. Create lots of space in the body wherever you can. You never want to feel compression. You never want to feel like you're not able to breathe. Your legs are active here as well. Notice my knees were a little bit bent, so I'm not locking out my knees, and as a result, rounding out my back. I'm keeping my knees slightly bent so I can extend up through my low back, and then at the same time, keep my legs active as well, and keep pressing back and down through the heels. Taking another 3 breaths here, using your inhales to help you find length, exhale to help you settle in. Let's bend the knees as you inhale, look ahead, and exhale to step or hop your feet to the top of the mat. Come up halfway as you inhale, flat back, hands on your shins, lean the weight forward onto your toe mounts. Exhale, and then push through your feet. Come all the way up, standing back bend as you look through your hands, bringing the palms together, push the pelvis forward, slightly bend the knees, and lift the chest. Inhale, straighten the legs, straighten the spine. Exhale, hinge from the hips, fold all the way back down, forward fold, Uttanasana. Come up halfway as you inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, planting your palms from here, stepping or hopping your way back to plank. If you're hopping back, land in your arms bent. So from here, land, arms bent, chaturanga. Inhale, rising, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, picking up the right leg here, bending your knee, and then rotate that hip. Let your right knee reach up to the ceiling, letting that hip stack over the left. Keep the shoulders side by side, pressing your right armpit towards the left leg. As your right knee lifts higher, continue rotating that hip. And then inhale to square the hips. As you exhale, swing your leg forward and bring the foot between the hands. On the inhale from here, coming into a high lunge. Reach the arms up overhead. Scissoring into the hips, pulling your right hip back, left hip forward, and then bring the left arm to the front, the right arm back, twisting in the torso. Stabilizing here, you want to keep that back leg nice and strong if it's the knee is up, or you have the option of bringing the knee down onto the mat as well. From here, you can take that back hand around the back to your left hip crest and lift the left hand up and reach it towards the top right corner. And bring the arms back to level with the shoulders, reaching the fingers in opposite directions. Bend the elbows, bringing the palms together. Take an inhale, lengthen, exhale. Press your left arm against the right leg as you find that prayer twist for the lunge. Thumbs are close to the center of your chest. And you're looking back or past your right elbow. Now to come out of this pose, you can look down towards your left foot and you can step that front foot to the top in one go. If you want to take multiple steps, you can. If you want to make it slightly more challenging, you can also come into Revolved Warrior 3 as you lean the weight forward and pick up that back leg and balance on one leg for a few moments. Let that left leg come to be parallel to the ground as you lead with your head forward. Lots of space for the chest in the midsection. And then when you step that foot to the top of the mat, come out of the twist and fold. Just going to switch over to this side so I can continue seeing you for the next little bit. Folding here. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale. From here, planting your palms, transition towards your plank through chaturanga into downward dog. Notice how each movement is connected with the breath, and that pattern stays the same. As you find your way into downward dog, inhale, pick up the left leg, bend the knee, begin to rotate that hip. Shoulders stay side by side. So notice how in this position, we're trying to twist in the lower half of the body while keeping the shoulders side by side. And then we inhale, square the hips. Exhale, swing that leg forward, bringing the foot on the mat. Now, in the lower half of the body, the hips stay level to each other, and we're twisting in the upper half of the body. Right arm in front, left arm back. Now notice how my knee was a little bit bent, and to engage that back leg, I take the back and kneecap upwards. From here, bringing the back hand around the back over to your right hip crest, taking the right hand up and across to the left side. And I'm actively trying to lengthen my tailbone down to the mat, at the same time lift my chest up. Then bring the arms back to being level, stabilizing at each step. Bring the palms together, lean forward, right arm against your left leg, prayer twist with the lunge. To come out of the pose, I look down towards my left foot, lean the weight forward, and pick up the back leg off the mat. And I want to try and engage my posterior chain so the glutes and hamstrings are connected to the lower back for the back leg. And if you ever come out of a balancing pose and fall out of it, it's all good. Take your time getting back into it. And as we bend that back leg, step it forward, coming out of the twist and into a forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale to release. And as you breathe in, come all the way up. And exhale, and bring the hands down through chest center. And that brings us to the end of today's practice. You can end things off with your hands on your hips. Feet are about shoulder width distance apart. Closing the eyes. Standing meditation. Just notice your body's weight shifting from one foot to the other, from the front of your feet to the back of your feet. See if you can find that balancing point in the middle where the weight is evenly distributed. And you feel like your body is stacking with your head over your shoulders, shoulders over the hips, hips over knees, and knees over ankles. Maintaining this connection with your breath. Keeping your chest lifted, shoulders relaxed. Thank you so much for joining in for today's practice. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Namaste.